When you go in there, they pretty much take everything away from you. They take your phone, they take away social media. You're left with just yourself. How did you experience it?
This thing, not being able to contact family, it's a bit difficult because it's very tied to family. Like not being able to hear from my mom, my brother, my sister.
Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Super Dimi1 and today we're making serious videos. So please remember in the comments, I don't want stupid comments, jokes and stuff like that. It's a serious video. It's an important video. In fact, right here below, what you think of these Italian structures that deal with this type of thing. The person in question is a person who is following a path, is having improvements. Hopefully he has understood where there are problems and that his life improves. I hope this video will serve as a basis for you to learn something, especially if you are also struggling to reach out to these facilities. In that case, or even just trying to follow a path, it's a help.
Test, 1, 2, 3, let's get started.
So guys, the person in question is named Andrea. He's between 20 and 25 years old and is currently in a community. Now I took a little break, let's say a few days. Anyway, he's been in there for quite a while. And introduce yourself.
I'm Andrea. I've been in the community since October 6th. I took a few days of freedom because I couldn't take it anymore and I stepped out for a bit. Then in 20 days, I'll go back to the community to finish the journey.
Okay, community, yeah. How is it? I mean, the first impression when you enter for the first time, now I'll open a parenthesis. It's a community for people who have problems. These are serious problems. We won't go into specifics, but he is on a journey to improve himself, to feel better anyway, to change life. Let's put it this way. Community, what's it like when you first arrive?
So first of all, yes, as Dimi says, it's a community dual diagnosis. So if he has substance dependence, that is mental disorders, let's put it that way, for example. I am borderline.
Borderline is a behavioral disorder that makes you feel weak. Anyway, often feeling afraid of abandonment and having issues with self-harm, anger outbursts and things like that, such as...
There are those who are schizophrenic, generic disorders. When you enter, you feel a bit overwhelmed, a bit scared because you don't expect what you see. I mean, it's the first experience, so it's not the best.
If you enter, do you find when you get in a series of houses? What is it like? How is it set up? Location all over the place, the houses.
Well, every community is unique. Mine is quite an old facility, and when you enter, you go to the office, you check in where they check your clothes, they check your body to see if you're bringing anything in, basically, or something like that. Mine was a farmhouse.
Okay, a farmhouse. So there's a perimeter, let's say it's divided into areas. There's one area where you do one thing and another area where you do something else.
Yes, there's the reading room, the activity room, where there's also a TV with sofas, all the various rooms, the bathrooms. Some are shared bathrooms, while others have bathrooms in the rooms. Then there's the work area, where we do some pieces. We screw bolts with screws, basically.
Okay, but does it serve a purpose, or is it just to pass the time?
I mean, they sell there. We trust an outside company. But they also teach you the consistency of having a job, the production, the build-up of stress that leads to doing the pieces. It only teaches me to have stress, all these things that are needed inside the community.
Be patient, let's put it that way. What's a typical day like for someone in a community? What time do you wake up? What do you do? Describe a typical day of yours on the fly.
There are various tasks. For example, who sets the table or clears it. He gets up at 6:30 in the morning. They prepare coffee, milk, tea based on needs. Breakfast is at 7, and once breakfast is done, there are therapies. You take the therapies and then you go to work making these pieces until noon. Then we eat until 2. There's a bit of a break. Then we make the pieces again until 4. Then at 4, there's some free time. Okay, till what time more or less? Free time until 7:30 when dinner is. Okay, and after dinner, you can stay in your room, relax, and then spend some time with others. If not, there's the same activity and there's no television. You watch series on Tuesday night, free TV, ensure all the series. There's a different television activity.
Okay, so you're pretty free. Anyway, it's not very strict. I mean, you don't have to go there for sure. Like, do you have to stay in your room after dinner? Or can you at least move around and do something?
You can do whatever you want. Okay. In my community where I talk, there are other communities that are much stricter, let's say, as rules. Mine is very free.
What do you eat in a community? So did you cook for me? You work in shifts with the menu of a community. I mean, what do you eat?
To enter the kitchen, you need to stay in the community for 6 months, and then they let you into the kitchen to eat. A dietitian prescribes a diet, so we have 8 grams of bread, and 8 grams of meat per day. In a week, there's a first course, a second course, a side dish, and fruit for those who want it.
You said you have to do it. It's indeed mandatory, I guess, a job.
Yes, it's not mandatory, but it's highly recommended. If someone can't do it because they don't feel like it or they're not well, they just won't do it. But doing these tasks is like, it distracts you, but it also helps you learn consistency. Because then once you're out of the community, you'll have to get a job, and it teaches you to be consistent in a job.
It's tiring. You know, it's either just boring and
Assembling 30,000 pieces in 7 days is draining. Pieces, in 7 days, working all day assembling, you kind of lose your mind a bit.
the people who work there, besides those who are there because they have issues. Anyway, how do they treat you? Do they treat you well? Do they treat you badly? Are they nice? Do they have a human relationship with you, or do they treat you a bit like scum?
Yes. So they are divided into operators and educators. The operator also supports you psychologically with weekly meetings, while the other is more of a presence that watches over you, let's say. But they are very good in situations, a bit critical if I'm not feeling well, for example. I go to them and they help me get through the crisis. In short, they are very good at this in their work.
So when you enter there, they basically take everything away from you. They take your phone, they take your social media. You're left with just yourself. So you have nothing except for the things that are in the community. Right. Yes. And how did you experience it?
This thing, anyway, of not being able to contact family, of not being able to, it's a bit difficult because it's very tied to family, like me, not being able to hear from my mom, my brother, my sister. It's a bit tough. But then you also get used to being without social media. You get used to a very different life. But then you also get used to being without social media. You get used to a very different life.
Can you bond with other people, or are they too caught up in their own stuff, or is it just not feasible? Are you divided like boys and girls, or are you all together? Tell me a bit about how socializing is, let's say, there.
Okay, a community is a male community, so it's just guys. There are 15 guys. Then there are also mixed ones where there are both guys and girls, but it's a bit difficult there. Those communities are complicated. The group forms, it's a nice group, our group. We all agree. In short, it's easy to bond with the other person because we have a problem. Yes, it's a very strong common bond, not the favorite color and addiction.
Has there ever been someone who went against you? Like a fight, something, an outburst of anger, maybe a little group of 2 or 3 people who are a bit mean or just act like jerks, stuff like that?
So little groups, no, they never really form, but there's always, of course, with someone you don't completely get along with. I had one person I didn't get along with. I often fought with him. I punched a tree in the grass and broke my hand. You always find someone you don't get along with, but that's just how life is.
How did you experience it? I mean, from the very first day you entered until now, even though you say you've left, even if you technically weren't supposed to, but you're still aware and you want to go back and you've realized that it helps you, I think. How did you experience it? But still you're aware and you want to go back and you've realized that it helps you, I think. How did you experience it? Just something particular that you remember, something you thought about whatever you want. How did you experience it?
Personally, it was good because in the end, the environment there is very friendly. It's playful, very easy to live with. It's not exhausting. The problem is a bit the ties with the family. I don't feel the family when I'm in there. This makes you feel a bit down. Not being in touch with family is tough, but living in the community isn't hard.
In the end, it's a really nice environment, nothing wrong with it. So you had a problem, you still have a problem, you're working on it, you're trying. In the meantime, I personally and everyone around you really admire you for that. The question is, what advice would you give to people who might be afraid of the community and don't know whether to go or not? Well, first of all, you can't just go because you want to. There's a path to follow. So often people don't do it because they're afraid of this path. How did you do it, first of all, and what advice would you give? You would say, do it, don't do it.
Tell us what you think if a boy or a girl has a problem with drug addiction like that. I strongly recommend going through a community program because it changes your life, and I advise asking for help right away. You have a problem with drug addiction. Putting it off doesn't lead to anything except freezing it. The situation you already have. So always ask for help, and the community is the only place that can help you.
It's been 2 months, actually maybe a little more, 3 months. You feel a bit different. You feel like you've understood what are the things that pushed you, and how do you try to be a bit, let's say, different in many ways, or do you think it hasn't helped much?
Well, 3 months is too little to say. Actually, I already feel a bit different in terms of character. How to face life. But 3 months is too little to say. There are programs that last 12 to 18 months to make a little change.
All right, Andrea, thank you. This video will be made public clearly on my channel. Please, in the comments, don't make stupid jokes. Let's keep it serious for once, since I'm making a serious video. Because on this channel, I cover everything from the most absurd nonsense to serious stuff. Anyway, like in this case, and I would like to take it more seriously, please, if you need help, reach out to the right people, and especially don't waste time, because you can't get the time back. It's the most important thing there is. All right, guys, that was the video. I hope you liked it. Please use this video as something positive, something that improves your life. Don't use it because it's not cool to use these substances. It makes you feel bad physically, mentally. It ruins your life. It ruins your family. That said, I really hope you enjoyed these videos. Please don't be idiots. The comments. Instead, let me know what you think. If you want to write something, a few nice words for Andrea, who is trying hard to overcome his problem. Write it down below in the comments. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. I hope to bring you more videos like this, maybe on different topics. Thank you, and activate the notification bell so when something comes up, you'll get notified. And we'll see each other next time.